Welcome to this NFL Week 18 review on Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And football fans, we kick off the last week of the NFL regular season with playoff implications. And on this review, we're going to start with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New Orleans Saints. And we see the Saints took an early first half lead, 16-6 against the Tampa Bay Bucks, but the defense came up big in the second half for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, only giving up 3 points as the offense was able to score 21 points in the second half, and the Buccaneers get the 27-19 victory, and they win their fourth straight NFC South divisional title with that victory. And we also seen wide receiver Mike Evans make NFL history with his 11th consecutive season of 1,000 receiving yards, tying the GOAT Jerry Rice for the most in NFL history. Wow, what a career for wide receiver Mike Evans, and what an accomplishment as the team went wild, and these Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed to the playoffs where they will take on the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Good luck to the Buccaneers, and let's go Tampa Bay Buccaneers! And guys, next on this Tim Reynolds Show review, we'll start with some Saturday football where we've seen the Cleveland Browns travel to take on the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens dominated this one as they win 35-10, and Lamar Jackson makes NFL history as he becomes the first ever player with 4,000 passing yards and over 900 rushing yards in a single season. Congratulations to the reigning defending NFL MVP as quarterback Lamar Jackson puts himself in the MVP race for this NFL season after this great performance to cap off the season with a 12-5 record as the Baltimore Ravens win their division crown once again, and they will be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round of the playoffs. And guys, next up on Saturday night, we've seen those Pittsburgh Steelers on their home field go up against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals come out with the victory in this one, 19-17, as the Steelers fall to 10-7, losing 3 straight games to end the season. But we see the Cincinnati Bengals, even though they win, unfortunately, they would be eliminated from playoff contention because the Denver Broncos were able to win. And guys, we'll go to our Sunday slate, and that's where we will start, where we've seen the Denver Broncos go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And guys, not much to talk about in this one, as we see the Broncos win 38-0 in this matchup after quarterback Bo Nix throws for 321 yards and 4 touchdown passes against the Kansas City Chiefs backups, as KC was resting a lot of their starters as they have already clinched the first seed, and they now finish the season with a 15-2 record and will have a bye heading into the playoffs. But now the Denver Broncos clinch their first playoff berth in quite a few seasons, and the first under head coach Sean Payton, and the Denver Broncos will be taking on the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Next in week 18, we see the Washington Commanders travel to take on the Dallas Cowboys, where quarterback Trey Lance gets the start for Dallas, but we would see the Washington Commanders pull out a last-second victory when backup quarterback Marcus Mariota was able to throw a touchdown pass to wide receiver Terry McLaurin, and McLaurin makes Washington Commanders franchise history for the most TD receptions in a single season, as the Commanders get the 23-19 victory over the Dallas Cowboys to finish with a 12-5 record, and they have clinched a wild card spot in the playoffs, and in the wild card round they will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. Then guys, next up, we've seen the Carolina Panthers traveling to take on the Atlanta Falcons with playoff implications in this game, but the Panthers get the overtime victory in this big shootout, 44-38 over the Atlanta Falcons, crushing their chances of being able to get into the playoffs, even though the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to win to get in themselves as they faced their NFC South foe, the Saints. But in this one, the Panthers now get 5 wins on the year, and they seem to have their quarterback, as quarterback Bryce Young for the Panthers throws 5 touchdown passes, or has 5 total touchdowns in this game to lead to the victory, and the Falcons finish 8-9 now on the season. But quarterback Mike Michael Penix Jr. looked really good as the rookie was able to throw for 312 yards and 2 touchdown passes in this game. Then, guys, next up we see the Miami Dolphins travel to take on the New York Jets, with playoff implications also in this matchup, but the New York Jets were able to spoil it for the Dolphins as they get the victory 32-20, and quarterback Aaron Rodgers throws his 500 TD pass of his NFL career, and he would also add to that as he ends up throwing 4 touchdown passes and 274 yards in this win for the New York Jets, and they finish at 5-12 on the year, but they spoil it for the Dolphins, who now finish at 8-9 and fall out of playoff contention, especially after the Broncos winning earlier in the day. But the big news coming out of Miami is that wide receiver Tyreek Hill may want out of Miami, and a trade may be coming for the all-pro wide receiver, and we'll have to see what the offseason plans will be for the Miami Dolphins. Then, guys, we also see that Jacksonville Jaguars travel to take on the Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts get the victory 26-23 after a last-second field goal, and running back Jonathan Taylor put the team on his back as he ran for 177 yards on 34 carries for 1 rushing TD to help lead the Colts to their 8th victory of the year as they finish this season 8-9. But it has been reported that no changes will be made from the head coach or the general manager for the Indianapolis Colts, but they do finish the season 5-3 at home, and the Jacksonville Jaguars lose this one to fall to 4-13 for the NFL regular season here. And the breaking news coming out of Jacksonville is that head coach Doug Peterson was let go as he's been fired, and now Jacksonville will be looking for a new head coach in 2025 for that NFL season. Then, guys, next up on this Tim Reynolds Show review, we've seen the Chicago Bears travel to take on the Green Bay Packers, and Chicago gets the victory to finally stop the bleeding and end the losing streak 24-22 after a 51-yard field goal was good, and the Bears not only end their losing streak this season, but end their losing streak against their division foe, the Green Bay Packers, and they finish with a 5-12 record as rookie quarterback Caleb Williams looks like their franchise quarterback. But the Chicago Bears will be looking for a new head coach for the 2025 NFL season, and the Green Bay Packers now clinch the 7th seed in the wild card round as they finish with an 11-6 record, going 6-3 at home. But the big news for Green Bay, as they see wide receiver Christian Watson is out for the playoffs and for the rest of the season after he suffered a torn ACL injury in this game. And speaking of injuries, quarterback Jordan Love also has like an elbow injury. It kind of hit his funny bone or whatever on his throwing elbow, so we'll have to wait and see, as he says he's playing in the wild card round, as the Green Bay Packers will take on the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2nd seed in the NFC wild card round. Then, guys, speaking of those Eagles, as they took on the New York Giants here in the last week of the regular season, and the Eagles with their backups get the victory 20-13 for their 14th win of the year. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, another division title and another playoff berth as they finish as the 2nd seed. And what can you say about the New York Giants? They finished 3-14 on this year's season, not good at all, and they're expecting maybe a rebuild? No, as it's been reported that both the general manager and the head coach Brian Daboll will keep their jobs and be back for next season for 2025. And good luck to the Philadelphia Eagles as they are headed to the playoffs. Then, guys, next up here, we see the Houston Texans would travel to take on the Tennessee Titans, and Houston gets the victory 23-14 in this matchup as backup running back Dameon Pierce, the former Florida Gator, was able to get 176 yards rushing and a rushing TD to help lead the victory for the Texans, who finished the season at 10-7 as AFC South champions and will be headed to the wild card round of the playoffs. And the Tennessee Titans finish at 3-14 this season, and they clinch the number 1 draft pick in the 2025 NFL draft because of that loss. So good luck to Tennessee. They'll definitely be looking to draft a quarterback more than likely. And we see here that the Houston Texans now will be taking on the Los Angeles Chargers in the wild card round of the playoffs next week. Then, guys, speaking of those Chargers, they're taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and they were able to get the victory 34-20 after quarterback Justin Herbert throws for 346 yards and 2 touchdown passes. And we also see wide receiver Quentin Johnson caught 13 catches for 186 yards, which is a new career high for him. And the Chargers finished at 11-6 on the season, and they're headed to the playoffs as well to take on the Houston Texans in the wild card round. Then, guys, we've seen the Seattle Seahawks travel to take on the Los Angeles Rams. And the Rams were sitting most of their starters in this matchup, and we would see the Seattle Seahawks get the big upset victory here, 30-25, as quarterback Geno Smith leads his team to victory and picks up a bunch of incentives for a bunch of money on his contract, as the Seattle Seahawks finish at 10-7 on the year, just the same record as the Rams, but they were already eliminated from the playoffs last week due to strength of schedule. And we also see the Los Angeles Rams are headed to the playoffs themselves, as they will take on the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football in the wild card round. And the reason for that is because on Sunday Night Football, we did see one of the best matchups in NFL history, as this is the first time ever that two teams with 13 plus wins met in the last week of the regular season, and they faced off in prime time, and the Detroit Lions win this ball game 31-9 against the Minnesota Vikings, as they clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC North divisional title with this win, their franchise record 15th win of the season, as they finished tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for the best record in the NFL at 15-2, and they also went 7-2 at home. But running back Jahmyr Gibbs scored 4 total touchdowns in this one, as he rushed for 139 yards and 3 rushing TDs. But with those 4 total touchdowns, he now finishes with 20 total touchdowns on the year, which leads the NFL. Man, what an accomplishment for the Detroit Lions, and what a bummer for the Minnesota Vikings, as both defenses played very well throughout this matchup until the second half for the Minnesota Vikings. And now with this loss, they fall to 14-3 on the season, and they will have to take on the Los Angeles Rams in the wild card round of the playoffs. And guys, we also seen the San Francisco 49ers travel to take on the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals would handle business with a lot of injuries and a lot of players out for the San Francisco 49ers, as they win 47-24 to make a statement here at the end of the season of what could have been for the Arizona Cardinals, as they finish 8-9 but 6-3 at home. So something maybe to improve on or to build off of as they head into the 2025 offseason with a lot of questions to be answered. And good luck to the San Francisco 49ers. They finished at 6-11 on the year, and with all the injuries they had all season long, it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the San Francisco 49ers. And guys, this has been your NFL Week 18 review on Tim Reynolds Show. We went a little more in depth because the playoffs are coming up next week, and I cannot wait for the wild card round and to see my Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the playoffs. Thank you guys so much. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Peace out, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show.